Hi, this is Sagar Krishnan from CollegeDunia. As you know, we have started an interview series of dignitaries from different colleges in all across India. This is because we wanted to understand your perspective so that students can get to know about the college beforehand, before they join the college. So we have done around 2,000 interviews till now with a lot of dignitaries. So on top of that, it is really honor that you are there today to share your inputs and the views of K.K.Wagh and particularly mechanical department for that matter. So can you just introduce yourself, sir, for the audience?
Yes, thank you, Sagar. My name is Murugkar, and I'm professor at K.K.Wagh Institute of Engineering Education and Research in Nashik. And I'm also working as head of the department. I did my master's from IIT Mumbai in energy systems engineering. It's a multidisciplinary branch which overlaps with mechanical as well as electrical engineering. So energy systems engineering has been my area of interest. And my subjects of interest are also in the same area, basically thermal engineering, heat transfer, thermodynamics, power plant engineering. And these are the subjects which I teach. And recently I have been teaching a subject in first year, which is engineering mechanics. So I've been with this institute for a pretty long time now. And teaching is my passion. And along with that, there are many other things which we'll talk about, which I have tried to inculcate in my staff members, have tried to build an environment of a teaching learning environment which is more conducive, and the attempt is to lay a foundation for students to be a good professionals in their life.
Okay, great, sir. So, as you mentioned, as a HOD of mechanical department, what are the basic responsibilities and roles towards the student that you pursue on day-to-day basis?
Okay, day-to-day basis, there are certain administrative things, right? So, typical things like any academic work, preparing the timetable, subject distribution, some work related to admissions, some work related to placements, although we have placement department. And these are the routine administrative kind of work. And apart from teaching guidance during seminars, student seminars, as well as projects, right? So, and these are day-to-day things, the many things that they come across. So these are administrative things. But, if my aim and my effort has been to make my department as much as possible less hierarchical. One thing I have observed in Indian education system is that this system has become too much hierarchical, and as a result, there are barriers in communication between students and teachers, between teachers and their seniors, with HODs. So these kind of hierarchical system really kills the spirit of a teaching learning environment. And this is something which is relatively less pronounced in Western countries. And that's my experience, because I have traveled and I have seen higher education systems over there. And this is something which has been a striking feature. And that's my purpose. I mean, that's my and our team, not just me, but we can say our department we find more liberal environment. Students freely interact with teachers. Teachers have more cordial relationship, and there is the effort is to encourage dialogue, to encourage accommodation of accommodating different opinions, and this is the spirit. So I think that's my emphasis. If we have this more open, which is more liberal and which open environment in any education system, the education becomes more enriching.
True. I totally agree with that, and it's really nice to see that you're trying to create, an open and liberal environment. So, how do you tend to establish, healthy relationship with student and fellow faculty? You have explained it in little bit extent in last question, But
Yeah.
would you like to elaborate on that?
Yeah. Yes. So I did talk about it, but in an abstract way. I think it's there are two things. One is the way you deal with students, right? Students. This is something which students need to feel at home. They need to. When they come to you, the way you treat students. See, students are at an age which is adolescent age. I mean, not adolescent. In fact, they are in teenage, right? And they are rebellious by nature, and that's what should be. That's what that age demands, and that because that rebellious nature comes with lot of potential of creativity, and the staff members need to be told that when you interact with students, you need to understand that these are teenagers. Their behavior is going to be slightly at times, which will not adhere to strict disciplinary norms. And you need to accommodate that. You need to understand that. And once you build up that confidence, when students realize that you don't have fickle egos, you are not offended quickly, then they will also feel free to talk to you. And this is something which I try to cultivate with my own behavior with students, which staff members watch, and many others, of course. I mean, it's not that I believe in that. Our entire team believes in that. So I think, and this is something which I can say proudly about my department. And this is something which students can verify. If they talk to our past students, our present students, and they can verify that, they will feel at home. Their teachers, their interactions with teachers are more friendly. And if you see the kind of environment, for example, the various activities which I'm going to talk about that at length, but some of the activities where students, I mean, these are totally driven by students. Like one activity I'm particularly proud of is KK Motorsports, where students manufacture vehicles, small-scale vehicles, automobiles, and they participate in various events. So this activity, for example, or another activity like Spotlight, where students inculcate their communication skills. These are entirely run by students, and they can do that because they have freedom. They can exercise their freedom. They organize the events. So there is so much freedom, and that pays a lot of dividend. So these are the ways in which this culture. This is an attempt, right? In Indian education system, we come from a different backgrounds, and educational system, if you want to really create liberal environment where questioning is permitted, it's a tough thing. But I think we have been fairly successful in creating that atmosphere in our department.
Definitely. It is pretty difficult, I believe, that creating that, barrier, and it's a very thin line between being a friend and being a teacher who can be a friend. I agree.
I know.
So, how do you think, the industry outside the college is pretty competitive at this point. So, how do you try to bring a practical approach towards the subject and make it industry oriented?
Yes, that's a very challenging task. And see, one is there's a syllabus, right? We are affiliated to Pune University, and from a year now, or maybe after a few months, we will gain an autonomous status, and then we can frame our syllabus. But at the moment, we are affiliated to. I mean, we will be affiliated, but we will have a status of autonomy in short time. But at the moment, the syllabus is set by university. But one is that you can participate in syllabus framing and accommodate the requirements of the industry. That's one thing. But going beyond that, that really doesn't. That's not an important thing. I think ideally, if we were to work in an ideal environment, I think that half of the time students should be spending in the world of work, and remaining half they should be studying the concepts, studying the theory part, right? So if that kind of blending is achieved, that will be great. But this is, for many reasons, it's not just possible. So what we do in our department, what we have done is always there is some in the syllabus. There is some recommended visits that you have to do some industrial visits per semester, 2 visits or something. But that is too little. So what we did, and we are fortunate that we are based in Nashik, Nashik, we have a thriving industry around us. So we have very close relationship with industry, and we have prepared a module. The module is such, and this is very collaborative kind of effort, which has so many prominent industrialists have contributed in that. They have committed towards that, and this we call as Disha project. And under that, students are made to visit industries in small units. Like a class would consist of 60 students, but our purpose is to expose students from a close distance to many technologies, many practices in industry. So a batch of say 16, 17 students visits frequently. In a semester, you will see that the student would have spent a whole day in at least 3 to 4 companies, right? More than that, in fact. Okay, and these visits are planned in such a way that the company is actively involved in that, and they prepare themselves, they explain the students, and the entire day, 16 students in different departments, they spend their time there, and then they write the report, then they make presentation. This is something which we do pretty rigorously. Of course, COVID has hampered that badly, but this is something which is, and I think must be unique to our department. And because having industrial visits is a difficult thing. So there are 1 or 2 visits, entire class goes to a company or a power plant, and it's a big group. You can't really get that experience which they should be getting. But our effort has been to make very, very small group, have frequent visits, and that is what takes to now. Look at the spin-off of that. Once students interact with the people over there in company, they see the technology from close distance, many ideas trigger. There will be ideas that lead to seminars, because in 3rd year, students have seminars. So seminar topics are automatically generated because of these visits. They are triggered, and they can, and because it comes from ground reality. So these are not the topics which have no linkage to reality. These are not the topics where the students copy it from some exotic sources like NASA and all that, which you can't relate to the reality. But here it is surrounding companies, and they see technology, and they select particular aspect of that technology, of that process, and then they then they give a seminar in 3rd year. Now, then during that time also, because they have already built relationship with the company, they pay many visits to company. And this also triggers the projects. Most of the projects are sponsored by the company. That means these are the projects where company is working on, and then students are given a component of that, and that becomes students' project. So this is a very strong link we have been able to achieve. This is a difficult task, because our strength is also large. But I think to a great extent we have managed it well, at least till now.
Great. So I see that you mentioned that you have activities to interact with corporate world, interact with the industries around you.
Yeah.
That's really important. That's really great to know. So is there any other activity, other program that has been offered to students in terms of getting additional skills, like other than technical skills, like soft skills, speech skills, and all those things?
Right. Okay. So there are 2 activities. There are more than 2, but I would restrict myself to 2, because herein I can demonstrate how the effectiveness of these activities, and those who are listening to my watching my video, they can cross-verify it, right? Whatever information I'm giving. There are 2 activities, and one is, I mentioned at the beginning, this is an activity, it's a club which is run by students, known as KK Motor Sports Club. Now, KK Motor Sports Club was founded now, some 12 years ago. And this was the initiative of students. Students wanted to participate in competition which is known as all-terrain vehicle competition. So wherein students come together, they fabricate a vehicle, which is essentially an IC engine, reduced to small scale with different features that suit the requirement of the competition. Now, this is so these competitions are arranged at regional levels, at national levels. They are organized by SAE, Baha. So there are so many organizers, but these are very popular events. And KK Motorsports of Mechanical Engineering Department is a club which is a thriving club where students are. People will be surprised if they come to our college. They will see that late night at 2 o'clock in the morning, students will be working in the workshop. The workshop is open for 24 hours. And students, you will see that they are working on vehicles. Now, what it involves? It involves teamwork, because there are students from first year to final year. This is a teamwork. Then students, look at the kind of activities they'll be doing. They'll be designing the vehicle. They'll be manufacturing certain parts in the workshop. They may not be able to manufacture everything, because there's a certain component they have to borrow. They have to get from professional companies. Say engine parts, some engine parts. So they will go around, talk to meet managers of different companies, request them to donate certain parts, request them to assist them in designing all such things. So they are exposed to company. Right, and then so they are frequently in touch with that. Designing this fabrication with inputs from the industry experts in the field, and they fabricate a vehicle which they test and then they compete. Right, so there are so many, and the vehicles. The competitions are very tough. So it's a small vehicle. These are sometimes you have to run those vehicles on undulating areas in rough weather. So these are the competitions are pretty tough. They are because there are so many requirements. The vehicle has to be light. It has to withstand. It has to withstand rough terrain, and safety precautions are to be in place. So there is so much. It's a demanding thing, and students work day and night, manufacture this vehicle. They conduct trials in rough weather. They simulate that, and then I'm so proud to tell you that our students have bagged competition prizes at different levels. At national level, they were even selected for international level competition, which was to be held in US. And we got they got sponsorship from from AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education. But unfortunately, because of COVID, that got cancelled. But so let me tell you the prizes they have bagged. And this is something which is a matter of great pride for us, because this entire activity is driven by students. And for example, we have different names. Like we have Team Brahmastra. So they got prize in overall event. That means in all areas of vehicle manufacturing, and they won the first prize in that at national level. Team Nemesis won overall championship trophy in international go-kart event. And so in SAE international event, which was to be organized at Arizona State in USA, we got selected, but it didn't happen. So, and now what is the fallout of this event, right? What kind of students? You can see that the students who have participated in these activities, they get so many skills. They know how to communicate. They know how to work in team. They have technical knowledge because they are designing from first principle. So, and then hands-on experience. That makes them pretty confident. And as a result, their placement also has improved. So this is something which I would like to say, and which students can, those who listen to my video can verify. For example, let me tell you this, some of the names. Okay, in 2019, our student Pratik Shroff. Now, Pratik Shroff was active member of this KK Motorsports, and he got a appointment from ARAI, and his package was 14 lakhs per annum. It was a big package and he gives credit for all this to the days and nights he spent at workshop, because of these activities. There are many other students, right? There is Shubham Dute, who also got in FinIQ. He got an excellent job. Then Murlidhar, there is Yadnesh Bor. He was placed in Bosch, and again because of the skills he developed here. So there are many other students, but so the students who work on this, they are different. They emerge as I can say industry ready engineers. Now that's one activity. I would like to talk about another activity with great pride, and that is Spotlight. Now Spotlight is a activity. It is again run by students, but my participation and our staff members are also involved in that. This is to inculcate communication skills. Now the idea is to give students some interesting topic and make them present in front of a audience, and there is question answer session also. Something on the lines of TED Talk, I can say. And they have to present the idea in a short time and effectively. That's the challenge. So this many students come from vernacular medium. They need to practice speaking in English. And those who are from English medium, they also need to practice because they might not, they have stage fear. For example, our one student, Rahil Mansoori, again, you can Google, find about him. Rahil Mansoori is a product of this Spotlight event. Rahil Mansoori, he was a student who couldn't face 10 students. He couldn't speak to 10 students. He had that fear psychosis. But when he entered this club, he developed so much that he went on to win an international competition which was held in London. So he bagged second prize over there. He went to London. And this was when he was still in his third or final year student, right? And he gives entire credit he gives to this Spotlight activity. Now, this is one example. There are many other examples where students are hugely benefited. But again, Rahil would be available on internet. You can contact him. So I think these are the two activities which I will say it gives me a lot of satisfaction that this activity has made big impact on students' career.
Great. I personally know that it's not easy to develop skills like soft skills and stage fear, and because of the exposure, international exposure the students are getting, it's really nice to understand that from your side and college's side, you are supporting these students in developing such kind of environment. So what are the intervention and approaches that you bring apart from curriculum you teach? I definitely understood about the events that you're talking about. Is there any additional things that you want to point out that these are the things who, other than this international exposure, are there any other things that you want me to point out?
Do you expect me to talk about teaching learning, the new approaches we are adopting?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So this is something our teaching so far has been delivery of lecture, and I think it's high time that delivering lecture for 45 minutes or 1 hour, and in that try to make teachers try to make it interactive, ask questions, etc. But I think this mode of teaching has to change now. I think it has to be more interactive. Students should be constantly interacting and they should be participating. So this process has to be a two-way process, and fortunately technology has provided a solution. For example, all these years I've been teaching students, and I think I ask students questions, I try to be interactive and try to involve many students, give numericals, go to each student and try to help him or her, but it's still a class of 60. Can there be more effective tool which would assess the students' understanding and my own performance in real time in short intervals? Now, this is possible. So we use certain tools wherein, so for example, I teach a concept, let's say, and the concept is taught in some 10-15 minutes. And after that, I wish to know whether students have grasped it. So that can be done by using their own cell phones. And for that, they don't require internet. We have a local Wi-Fi system, and they can log into that. And all this happens in, and I don't go get into technical details, but I will float a question, and the question will have multiple choice. There will be, and they have to select one, but the framing will be such that that will really test their understanding. And I might give them 1 or 2 minutes, and when they press the button in real time in front of them on the whiteboard, they will get the entire analysis as to how many students have given correct answers, how many have given wrong answer, and which wrong answer they have given, and how much time they have taken. So their confidence level is also judged. So I can test students in my lecture of 1 hour. I can test students say 5 times, and it's very, very efficient. It doesn't really require, overall I can say it would take say 7 to 8 minutes for all these 4 or 5 tests. So I know whether all these 15 minutes, whatever I've talked, explained, has been understood, grasped by the students or not. Now, this technique was not available, till to us, say 5 years ago, but now it's available. IT evolution has, and especially now after this pandemic, there are many other tools are coming. So now I think it's a time to blend online with offline, right? In the sense, online we are using all these techniques, but in the offline also you will be like we started using in offline. So it's a blending, right? We are using IT component in this way. IT component sometimes is used in a very bad way, like projecting the entire thing with the PPT and nothing. It's all static. But here we can evolve. We can test students, interact, talk, again interact. This kind of interactive session where you are ensuring that each student has understood my concept. See, if I have taught for 1 hour and I have all this record and I can see that's it, 15 students have not understood, they are not given the answer. So then it's my responsibility. It's a mirror to me, and I can't be satisfied that I have taught well, because earlier we didn't have that. Now this is a mirror, so I have to again engage a class. I have to do something for those 15 students. Now, this kind of interactive teaching learning process is something which we have started, and we will do it more rigorously hereafter.
Great. I'm glad that you mentioned, more immersive and interactive teaching learning environment. And
you used the correct word. Immersive is the correct word. That I should have used that. That's the correct word. Yeah.
So I would just like to understand: has been the IT, resources for the education sector, the adoption of which was very slow at this point. But has COVID has impacted in a way that the adoption has increased now? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it has increased now, and it would increase more also. And there is something interesting happening which I see in education system. See, as a teacher, I may be teaching for many years a subject, and now students, because they are forced to look at, go to internet, all the more because of pandemic, and they will be watching videos, they will be searching, because it's online education. I'm teaching them online, they are also exposed to many other teachers who are teaching online. So there could be excellent teachers who are teaching online, right? And here I am now. So far, I was competing with, in a healthy way, competing with teachers in my department or other department. But now I have to compete with the world. Students are going to judge me. They are going to, they can see a good teacher, and they are going to compare me with that teacher. That's an additional burden on me, because they are exposed to this, and there are excellent videos. So I am made to be on my toes. I have to keep on. I will also be watching these videos. Then I will have to improve my teaching. That's one very, very positive impact that one has to. That will be on teaching community. It's a good thing. It's a threatening thing, but it's a good thing. Okay. Now, second part is, as I said, you can now club this. If you have some excellent videos, some excellent concepts are explained, there are certain good animations, right? And sometimes, ideally, the teaching should be experiential. So I should not start teaching something abstract. I should take some concrete example, make students experience that, right? Let's say engineering mechanics. I should, in fact, ideally give something in their hands to experience the force, for example, or experience gyroscopic couple. But this may not be possible always. But now I will have excellent videos, excellent animation. So I would send them, select them, and then interact, discuss on that, right? Now, all such combinations are possible. Now, there are so many combinations. In fact, entire lecture will be punctuated by this interesting intervention with IT tools. And the monotony will be gone. And the biggest advantage is that teachers will be kept on their toes. And that's something which we wholeheartedly welcome, and teachers should welcome. And that's something which this is going to keep teachers constantly improving their teaching methodology, new techniques. Something happens in some corner of the world, that is going to reach you. Students are going to watch that, and it should be on pressure on me to take good things from all over the world.
Great. I believe that's the way to go ahead. I think that has been enforced on us because of this pandemic. That is something that is positive that we can think of. So overall, as we were talking about overall education delivery and all, what do you think your college's K.K.Wagh's strength and how it can be enhanced in a longer term? You can talk about your department also, but overall, I want to understand about K.K.Wagh.
Okay. See, one thing about K.K.Wagh, I am talking about our engineering, because there have so many institutes under K.K.Wagh Education Society, but I'll restrict myself to K.K.Wagh Institute of Engineering Research and Education. So here, this institute is an old institute. If you remember, the first 5 private colleges that were founded in 80s. So ours is one of them. One of the first 5 in Maharashtra. So obviously, we are, being the oldest institute, we have a legacy. And so if you see in 80s, when first private engineering colleges came into existence, then there was staff which was also a good staff that came, because there were no many colleges at that time. So the quality had, unfortunately, when there is large supply, the quality has its effect of supply. But the quality was fairly good, and that the foundation which was laid at K.K.Wagh Institute was relatively better than other institutes. So in Nashik region, this is the only college which started at that time. All the other colleges have come later. Now that's an advantage. So our brand is established, and primarily our institute is known for good quality teaching, quality teaching learning experience. And this is something as a institute which is now many decades of existence, I think what we need to do is build upon this reputation, build upon this solid foundation, and then adopt, as I said, I just talked about that, accommodate new innovative teaching learning processes, new assessment processes, and especially now when we will be going, we'll be autonomous, we'll have lots of freedom. And autonomy gives you a lot of freedom, but if you don't know what to do with that freedom, the quality will degenerate. So we need to be really very creative. We need to know what exactly is like. For example, we have, there's been always this talk of industry-institute interaction, involvement of industry in syllabus framing, but all that in a university system, there were limitations to that, because a university catering to hundreds of colleges and the syllabus is framed, so there are so many pulls and pushes. So it's accommodating the inputs from industrial sector is very difficult. But now when an institute such as K.K.Wagh becomes autonomous, it's possible, and especially being in Nashik, it's possible for this institute to accommodate all the suggestions or creative ways of teaching that comes from industry, and we can have a nice blending of practical aspect and theoretical concept. So this blending is possible, and this is what K.K.Wagh should strive at, because ultimately the placement, the jobs, etc., all would depend upon how well the students have grasped the central concepts, how they are able to apply it in the world of work, and whether they are able to communicate, right? I think these are the things which matter. So if these 4 years, if our institute focuses on these three aspects. I think, and this is what we should be doing, and this is a challenge. And as I said, IT revolution and many interesting tools are there, and we should be using them, and without resisting our tendency to be orthodox. We should be opening out, or we should be open to all new changes that are taking place.
Great, sir. So to close up, I would just like to ask you, being an experienced person in this industry and committed to K.K.Wagh since so very long time, what valuable advice you would like for the students, prospective students basically, for their career ahead after joining K.K.Wagh?
Yeah. Okay. See, the advice is this. It's no. I listen to Yuval Noah Harari frequently. He's a Israeli is a professor who is known for his famous books, Homo Sapien and two other books. And he has been speaking about the technological changes which are rapidly taking place, right? IT revolution is there, artificial intelligence is coming, and the world of work is transforming itself. And in 20 years, it will be completely different. The change has always been there, but the change is going to be fast now. Now, we have certain syllabus. We will teach some concepts. Now, the students who undergo a course after 4 years, will he or she be applying the same concepts? One doesn't know. But because the world is changing fast. But then what matters is training your mind. If your mind is trained to think critically, to think at abstract level, and to relate those abstract principles to concrete level, now that training of mind is what these 4 years should be giving to the students. So students should always be cultivating this habit of thinking critically. That means they should not they should avoid rote learning. Unfortunately, till 12th, because we want to score marks, we have this particular pattern. We have this, whether we understand concepts or not, we want to score marks. We have techniques. This is what the classes teach us. Now, this could be fine because that's the aim. But hereafter, students should strive to grasp the central concept of every subject, because grasping the central concept gives you confidence to apply them. If you don't have concept, then you will not, you don't have that confidence. Moreover, that understanding the concept, getting at an abstract level, will train your mind, and that matters a lot. Once you grasp these abstract concepts of engineering, which is basically a science, right? Some branch of science. So if you do that, have that habit, test it rigorously, then the kind of engineers you will be you'll have tremendous potential. Then you may or may not use the same concepts, right? You may be, because see, a mechanical engineering students, I teach him thermodynamics, but he might be doing something else. He could be on shop floor managing people and material, right? But that's my belief and that's my experience. If he has understood the concept, he has made efforts to that, understand the concept of any subject, his mind is trained and he's more flexible. He can see the things. He can see the things beyond the obvious. And this kind of training of critical thinking is what should happen in these 4 years. So my advice to students, actually it sounds idealistic, but my advice is that they should enjoy engineering, meaning they should focus on understanding the central concepts and try to apply them whenever the opportunity arises. And then they will enjoy this course.
Great, sir. Great. I think that is a very sound and to the crisp advice in terms of engineering education currently right now. So really nice to know all the thoughts about you, about the courses and college and overall education industry. It was an honor, sir, to interact with you. Thank you for having me.